World Book Day. My name's Emma. I'm a children's book illustrator. My pen name is Corinne Webb, and this is my studio. This is where I work every day. I have my plants. You can't see it off camera, but I have a lot of different art supplies. Absolutely love it. Have a lot of different books. And then up here I've got the books I've worked on. I've got some of my favourite pieces for when I'm having a bad day. And then down here I've got some books that I've collected. So like Miyazaki, I absolutely love Miyazaki work, and I quite often flick through that for some inspiration. Other picture books that I've collected, they tend to go into the boys' bedroom eventually, or they come back in. One of my favourite illustrators, Adam Rex, so I like that. A wonderful science series that I would recommend to anyone by Josh Becker, the Annabelle and Aidan series, What Happens When We Die. Lots of different ones. Oh, and magazines. I read a lot. So this is where I work, and I was going to do a very short video about putting together a picture book and the sort of work that gets involved with it. So I work on the Waverly the Witch picture book series with Angela Lindsay, and the Below the Green chapter book series with Annalise Hetherington. We are at the moment on book 3 of Waverly the Witch, halfway through, so we've just finished the cover. If you go to her Facebook page, you might see a sneak peek. And book 5 of Below the Green is about to launch pretty soon. We're just wrapping that up with formatting, etc. That was a private book that I was commissioned to do, Mysterious Cat, so it's not been published. I've also worked on a really nice book about taking time out with your child and just breathing and relaxing and making some quiet time. And I'm also in the process of working on the Blooms and Schmooms books, which are very cute. You can see some sneak peeks on my page. And yeah, that's Heather Davis. She's another wonderful author. So I'm very lucky. I get to work with a lot of wonderful people. So I also have my own colouring book out, which I'm going to talk to you about today. So this came out last year. Maybe the Christmas before, actually. That was the first cover. It was a bit rushed, so I didn't really like it, to be honest. It's easier to work for other people than yourself. Definitely lowered my standards a little bit on that one. And so I redid it, and it's this one, the Purrrfect Colouring book, it's called. And it's just full of magical cats. So it started off in here, in my little sketchbook. I go for a lot of sketchbooks. So this one's summer 2019. It was a present from a friend, actually. And here are some really early sketches of cats. That's Norse, one of the sisters. That's one of my favourites. Yeah. So you can see just quick little sketches, start to build it up. And then at that point, it was before I had my nice big drawing tablet that I love, that I got last summer. So it would have been on my iPad. I used Procreate. And I would have drawn them up there. It's just line art mostly, except for the covers, obviously. And then build it up from there. Then, when I've got that how I want it, I take it onto InDesign. And then I format the book. So I'll have my beginning pages. And this one, look for the colouring, copyright page. And then I'll start piecing it all together. So it is a colouring book, but there's a little bit of story to go with each of the characters. A little bit of Welsh in there. And yeah, so that's a really simplified version of how it all goes together. So that one was fairly straightforward because there's no story. When I'm working for an author, okay, so it's two different processes here. So this one's picture book. Picture book has 32 pages as the industry standard with traditional publishers. So Angela will send me the manuscript over. We go over, so obviously we've already got Waverly the Witch design. We know what she looks like. She's got blonde hair, she's big green eyes. And we will split the text up over the pages so we know what's happening on each page, and then from there I will do a very rough storyboard of just little thumbnails with an idea of the overall sort of look of what we've got going on each page, and make sure it works. There's a place for the text. We have to be very careful what we put here. This is called the gutter, and if I had a face in there you wouldn't really see it, it would get a little bit lost. So we lay that out, and then after that, when we've got all of that in place, I will then sketch up. So I'll do a full sketch of what each page is going to look like. I have the text in there so I know how much space I've got to leave. And then we go on to the cover. When I do a cover, I do at least 3 final concepts. Again, these are just rough, very rough little thumbnails. So what it looks like from a distance, we want to see the layout, where the text is going to go, any important, so this is Jinxed, Waverly, any important characters that we've got going on. Then once we've got, like I say, at least 3, usually it's a lot more, and to get down to 3 or 4 usable ones, I've probably done 12, 15, 20, just over and over again. Like I'll think, oh, that looks good, oh, it looked better like this, it looked better like that, and then I'll condense that down to ones that I think are really good, and then I'll go back to Angela and we'll have a chat over them. Sometimes we might take a bit from that one and a bit from that one and mix it up until we have the cover that we want. Then I sketch all that up and we look at that again. Then it gets all coloured, and then the text goes in with the back text, the barcodes, and then we get into the next step, which is easily the longest step, which is painting each. So if you remember, before I started the covers, I've got the sketch for each of these pages all done up, and then I'll just go in and start colouring it. And very briefly, I use Clip Studio. I use this nice big tablet, very nice, and my little pen, and I'll lay my base colours, and then I'll work it up from there. That's another video really. And so that's how I do a picture book. And it's kind of similar when it comes to the chapter books. Again, it's another series that I've been working on with the author for quite a while. So we already have our logo. We already know what our characters look like. There's 5 main characters. And then there's quite a few main magical creatures. And we have the way that the text, as you can see in each book, is all the same. So again, Annalise will send me the manuscript. Obviously it takes a bit longer to read over. With Annalise, she doesn't have an image on each page because it's a chapter book, so we just have 16 overall throughout the book. But we also have the map that's in the front of all of the books, which shows you the world that this book is based in. And so I start with reading over the book, and then I will make a note of important points in the book. Important points, and sometimes just fun points that I think I would like to see in an illustration. And then I condense that down to 16, pick the best 16. Then from that list, I pick 3, again, a minimum of 3 for the cover concepts. And similar process to this, I'll do lots of different thumbnails. But what I'll do with this one, when I have picked the 3, usually more, that I'm going to go with, I'll do a full sketch for it, because what we don't choose for the cover, it will then become an internal within the book, because obviously I've picked the 16 most important points. So I'll speak to Annalise about that, and we'll go over that, and then we'll pick the final one. Same process again, I'll have that all painted up, I'll add the text in. This Annalise's text here, the title text for the book, is all hand done. And then we'll do the back and put the barcode on, and then we'll get to the insides. So I've got my list of 16, I know which ones I need to do. Annalise's aren't coloured, Let me find one. Can't find one now for love nor money. There we go. That's one of my favourites. So they're not coloured because it's always black and white in a chapter book. And this is a troll. So once I've got the 16 illustrations, I also format Annalise's books. I only format books I work on. I don't format other people's books. So we'll have that. Now again, I've done quite a few of these, so I have my template on my computer already. I will start by putting the chapter headings in. Each book has a different, you can see on this page, number. It's a turtle. It's a different one for each book. So the Shanty Realm was a seashell, and the next book that's coming out, a little sneak peek, is a feather. So it's different for each book. The headers are the same, and then obviously there's the map that's in the front of each book, and then that map is split into separate ones which appear in the relevant chapters when we visit that realm. So that's Upland. I think there's a Grimm's one in there somewhere. Yeah, there we go, Land of the Grimms. So we get all that in place. Then I start putting the words in, which obviously takes a little bit longer because it's a much bigger book. I think there's about 160 as a rule for Annalise's books. Then when we get right to the end, Annalise has a sneak peek for the next book to keep people keep reading. Although they're fantastic books, so kids love them. My kids love them. They're always asking for spoilers, and I'm dead mean. I'm like, no, I don't want a spoiler. Wait till the book comes out. I do let them read it as soon as it hits, though. And then at the end of Annalise's book, she also has a recipe, which I think is really nice. And a dear reader, she writes a letter to her readers at the back of each book. And that's basically how I roll. And I think it's pretty standard how most books are put together. Some illustrators don't format the book and design the layout and things with the type. It's just different. Everyone's a little bit different. I predominantly work with self-publishers as well. I don't work with traditional published house, so the process with traditional publishing house would be a little bit different. I work directly with the authors, so there is more input. It's a little slightly different process, but it's nice. It's organic, and it takes a huge amount. I mean, not to take away from myself, it takes a huge amount to illustrate it and to keep coming up with fun, creative ideas, but I love it, so I do. But it takes a huge amount to create worlds and characters and storylines and interactions, and that it's edited quite a lot. So once they finish their manuscript, it goes to an editor at least once. And so I think it's nice that they get that amount of input. I mean, there's a lot of different conversations about that, and so I hope you found it interesting. World Book Day, what my office looks like, and what it's like to put a book together. If you've got any questions, I'll probably try and do one of these. You might notice I'm not very good in front of a camera. There's been many takes to get this far. So I would like to know what you guys are interested in and what I do. You know, it's what I do every day. You get a bit blindsided to what might be interesting to other people. So yeah, comment wherever I put this video. My website? I don't know. We'll sort that out after. Or just email me. Just tell me what you'd like to know more about the process. And thanks for watching. Bye.